That's not that important. I will be your guide for today for Zagreb. I promise I will not talk too much because you want to take photos and you want to do shopping. So I will say just a few words, just a small introduction, and then we will practically walk. But I suppose that you might want to stop in front of the Museum of Broken Relationships because it's an interesting place. So this is the lower town. This is 19th century part of the town. Practically everything that you saw from the bus that you can see here did not exist in the 19th century. History of Zagreb begins on two small hills. First one is in front of you where the cathedral is. That's the place where we will practically finish sightseeing. That's 11th century part of the town. So whoever wants, you can visit the cathedral. Entrance is until 5 o'clock. After that, you should enter individually like this. Otherwise, they will not let you in. Okay, so that was always spiritual center of Zagreb, of Croatia, hill of capital or capital. In about 2 minutes, funicular is going to take us to the upper town. The upper town is 13th century part of the town where many noble families live, where craftsmen, tradesmen, foreigners, Hungarians, Italians, Austrians. Those two hills were fighting between each other. They were united under the name of Zagreb in the year 1850, and after the union, after the year 1850, lower town starts to develop. In the 19th century, Croatia was still part of Austro-Hungarian Empire. We were ruled by famous Habsburg dynasty, Habsburgs. Nowadays we have approximately 1 million of inhabitants in Zagreb. So Zagreb is also more than 900 years old city. Those are basic information. This is the main square. This is like a heart of Zagreb. And actually right heart is a symbol of Zagreb. It's under UNESCO protection. Now, where to buy heart? Over there in souvenir shops in your free time, please. Or somewhere there where they are now at the moment selling traditional products from most probably all parts of Croatia. National hero is Josip Jelačić, Joseph Jelačić from the 19th century, who was a viceroy during Austro-Hungarian Empire. This statue was removed during the communist period because communists didn't like him because he was too much Croat for them. During Yugoslavia communist period, we're all Yugoslavs, South Slavic people. The statue was brought back here in 1990. Main meeting point for the locals is straight ahead. White clock over there is the main meeting point, or if not, under the horse's tail. That's the second meeting point. This is the longest street of Zagreb, Ilica, 6 kilometers long street which connects eastern and western part of the town. Where to do shoppings? There is a Müller, which is a good 5 or 6 floors. We will get back here quiet soon. On your way to the cathedral, there are souvenir shops. Or just down this street, you will see, we will get back here in the end, Mango, Geox, Zara, Naf, H&M, and so on. Or when you get back here, you see the orange building, you go just straight ahead, please be careful with trams. First one round the corner, there is a street where you can find like shops with little bit more expensive clothes. It's up to you. Where to buy traditional Croatian chocolates and sweets, because here in Zagreb we have more than 100 years old chocolate factory called Kraš. This is their specialized store. You can see Bajadera, Bomboniere Kraš. Bajadera is their best brand, but you will also find like a golden chocolate called Dorina or waffles. It's like a cafe color box. Napolitanke, like Italy Napoli. I almost said Mr. Frog. I'm sorry. Okay, so those are traditional products. Red Heart, Crush chocolates, and then honey brandy. Alcoholic drink, Medica called honey brandy. Where to find it? You can find it maybe in souvenir shops. In supermarket. Supermarket is in the green building down there, small one. If not, when you reach the cathedral, you should just cross the street. There is a supermarket. I will show you. And that's it. Now we will go straight ahead. We will reach 13th century part of the town. We'll have a nice view of the lower town, and I will just point to you tower, which has a cannon. That cannon fires every single day. Tower is Lotterschak, Mr. Duck. Lotterschak. Cannon fires every single day exactly at 12 o'clock since the year 1877. Trust me, this was the briefest possible explanation, but up there we'll see some other parts. So if you're interested, I can explain it because we'll also see beautiful church with a colorful roof. So I have to talk there, otherwise I will be fired. Okay. Okay, let's go straight there. Please be careful with your personal.
นะครับตอนนี้อยู่ใจกลางกรุงซาเกรบนะฮะเราก็เห็นร้านค้าร้านช้อปปิ้งร้านขายของกลางตลาดนะครับเนี่ยอ๋อซอยนี้ตรงซิงเกอร์นี่เดินไปเลี้ยวขวาหน่อยเป็นที่ช้อปปิ้งนะครับอีกเหมือนกันร้านค้าของแพงแบรนด์เนมร้านค้าต่างๆDM นี่ก็เป็นในนั่นที่แทรมนี่ไงที่จะพาไปขึ้นสั้นๆไปขึ้นแทรมกันตรงนี้นะครับแมงโก้ตรงห้างแมงโก้เลี้ยวไปขึ้นแทรมครับไปขึ้นแทรมที่ห้างแมงโก้นิคูล่านะครับนั่งได้18คนฟันนิคูล่ารถรางไปเขายังไม่เรียกอย่าพึ่งนะครับโน่นขึ้นไปโน่นไปเลยไปเลยไม่มีกรุ๊ปใครมีกรุ๊ปเรากรุ๊ปเดียวโอเคโอเคโอ้ตื่นเต้นมากเลยตื่นเต้นมากเลยโอ้โหมือก่อนนั่งได้ชิดนั่งได้5นั่งได้4ถ้านั่งขี่นั่งได้คนเดียวนั่งขี่นั่งคนเดียวเย้แล้วพอนั่งกีบเดียวไม่รู้ดิต่อไม่ถูกเลยกีบเดียว2กีบthank you นะครับอันนี้ก็เป็นทางขึ้นฟันนิคูล่า everybody โอเคข้าวโพดคั่วครับข้าวโพดย่างข้าวโพดปิ้งสโตรสมาสเตอร์ยังอย่างนี้ก่อนไปอย่างนี้ก่อนไปถ่ายทางด้านนู้น
I will talk just a little bit more. Maybe just you, Mr. Duck.
Okay.
Nobody wants to listen.
Never mind. They want to take a photo.
Okay, so Mr. Duck. Just for you. This is 13th century tower. It's called Lotterschak, and it was constructed as an integral part of defensive walls here in the 13th century because this hill was fortified with defensive walls. When this hill was fortified, originally it had 5 gates, 5 entrances, big 4 entrances and one small entrance. Down there on the ground, you can see remains of one of the entrances. This entrance was pulled down in the 19th century. Nowadays, this tower is mostly known because of the cannon that fires every single day since the year 1877. It marks a midday. So every day since the year 1877, except during the World War I, this cannon fires. It's quite loud, nothing dangerous. It simply marks a midday. this area to the left is simply area where people like to gather, especially during the summertime. They would go for a concert on the open air, listen to the music on the open air, for a beer, whatever. It's really nice area. Our funicular was the first public transport of Zagreb. It was introduced in the year 1890, 1 year before we introduced our trams. And now we have a nice view to the lower town. This part that you can see closer dates back to Austro-Hungarian period, so second half of the 19th century and beginning of the 20th century.
Austro-Hungarian.
End of the panoramic is New Zagreb area that was constructed during the socialist period, 60s and 70s of the last century. Yellow building with a green dome is Croatian National Theatre from the 19th century. It was designed by Austrian architects Helmer and Fellner. It took them only 16 months to construct it. It was constructed in neo-Baroque style. What else? Nothing. Our funicular departs every 10 minutes. And as I said, the ride is only 64 seconds. This building was the first bank of Zagreb. It was finished at the beginning of the 20th century. And that crystal tower is on the main square, the place where we started. It's also good for orientation. People wanted to demolish it when we switched from communism to capitalism, but then historians decided to restore it. And now there's as a part of our, and leave it as a part of our history. And on the top floor, nowadays there is a nice observation deck and cafeteria.
Cafeteria.
Yes.
On the top.
On the top. If you want to go up there, they will charge you 60 kuna. But once when you buy a ticket, you can go up and down as much as you want. And it's really spectacular view to the city of Zagreb.
ชมวิวได้โอเค
I said everything in the end. Okay, so we first go to the square because we have to go the same way back. And this is what is always like people want to see immediately. So let us go there. On the way back, I will talk about two more things. This is Katarina Church, 17th
Katarina
century.
Church.
This is important. There is the first high school of Zagreb on the right side, 1607. Here it was established by Jesuits.
ยังโบสถ์นี้
Museum of Broken Relationships, which was founded here.
of broken relationship อ๋อพวกอกหักใครอกหักรักคุดตุ๊ดเมินมีเปล่านี่มิวเซียมมีมิวเซียมอกหักรักคุดตุ๊ดเมินมาเลยมิวเซียมนี้ต้อนรับมิวเซียมพิพิธภัณฑ์สำหรับคนอกหักมีเปล่ารักคุดตุ๊ดเมินไม่มีนะโอเค
Bad memories eraser. You can erase bad memories.
bad memory eraser อันนี้
Chocolates. Hope your ass
อันนี้ยังลบความทรงจำเลวร้าย
This hope your ass gets bigger. Love is like eating large amounts of chocolate. Forget love. I'd rather
love is like อะไรนะ
like
คัตตินี่
eating large amounts of chocolate.
กินแล้วเป็นไงเนี่ย forget love
I'd rather fall in chocolate.
how many chocolate you eat
I don't eat these chocolates, but I'm chocolate addicted. That's why I suggested you crash. So Museum of Broken Relationships was rewarded as the most original museum of Europe some 7 years ago. But it was established by ex-couple and they didn't know how to show their things.
ตั้งมาประมาณ7 ปีที่แล้วเอง
19th century church. This is enough for...
not important enough ไม่เก่าพอ
This is Cyrillic.
It's a new one.
It is devoted to the Saint Cyril and Methodius. It was designed by the same architect who made our cathedral, Hermann Bolle, German. And this is the first museum of nave art of the world. Basically, those are paintings painted on glass from backwards.
first museum
Yes, like this, with oil colors. It's not the same glass. It's a special technique, which was started by really young, illiterate farmers in the 30s of the last century on the north of Croatia in a small village called Ledina. This is something that I really love. There was a group of young farmers. In their free time, when it was cold, they couldn't work on the fields. It was snowing. They would stay in their houses. They would take a piece of glass like this, and then they would turn it like this. They would take oil colors and they would paint like this, starting with details. So what you would usually paint first when you paint on wood or canvas, now you paint last, and vice versa. You do it in layers because you have to leave a color to dry. It's a special demanding technique. In the end, you turn it like this in order to see how it turns out. It turns out
เขียน
like
ข้างหลัง
3D
แล้วภาพ
dimension.
มันจะอยู่ข้างหน้า
This is what they
เขี
do
ยนใน
in
กระจก
90% of cases. Sometimes they paint normally on wood or canvas. It's still called naive or primitive art because of the same motifs. But the most interesting are those paintings painted on glass from backwards. And this is something that it's really typical for the continental part of Croatia. Before you reach St. Mark's Square, I will just briefly mention on the left side there is the old city hall, which is still used by city authorities. On weekends it's used for civil weddings. First flag is Croatia's flag. Blue one is the flag of Zagreb. There is the castle,
Zagreb,
which is simply symbol of defensive walls. Castle has a door widely open, which is a symbol of hospitality of citizens of Zagreb. It welcomes everybody, invites everybody to join us. And now we can go to St. Mark's Square. We can give you maybe 3 minutes to take photos, and then I will talk again just a little bit.
Okay.
Those paintings, I will show you where you can find plenty of.
อันนี้เป็นพิพิธภัณฑ์นะครับที่เขาเขียนกระจกอะกระจกเนี่ยเวลาเขาวาดรูปอะเขาวาดจากด้านหลัง แล้วภาพมันจะออกมาด้านหน้า แต่เวลาเขาเพ้นท์เนี่ยเขาเพ้นท์จากด้านหลังไปเป็นเทคนิคพิเศษที่พวกชาวนาเขายามว่างเขาจะเอามาวาดรูปนะครับนี่โบสถ์เซนต์มาร์กฟังรถนี่โบสถ์เซนต์มาร์กที่เราจะมาดูนี่แหละโบสถ์เนี้ยใช่นะครับนี่แหละโบสถ์ธงชาติเนี่ยหลังคาธงชาติเนี่ยโบสถ์หลังคาธงชาติเนี่ยแหละสำคัญรักเมืองเนี่ยที่กรุ๊ปไหนก็ต้องมาที่นี่นะครับอันนี้รถไฟฟ้านะครับเนี่ยรถไฟฟ้าโอนซาเก็บทัวร์รถไฟฟ้ามอเตอร์ไฟฟ้าเอาเลยถ่ายเลยเต็มที่มีนักบินด้วยเซนต์มาร์กบอกเซนต์มาร์ก
Out of ceramics in Hungary, it's still original one.
From Hungary?
Hungary, yes, in the city of Pech. Coat of arm on the right side is the coat of arm of Zagreb. The same one that we saw on the flag. Okay? The left
Zagreb.
one represents 3 parts of Croatia. First one on the left side is central Croatia. Second one is Dalmatia, Adriatic coast. Dalmatia.
It's a dog, a Dalmatia dog?
No, 3 heads of lions. Because there was a lot of Italian influence. Last one is not Slovenia, neighboring country, but Slavonia, which is a region of Croatia on the border with the neighboring country Serbia. Slovenia is here. We are in Zagreb. We are here. And then Slavonia is here. It's a region which is on the border with the neighboring country Serbia. There is a Serbia, there is a Hungary, Slovenia, Italy on the Adriatic coast, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. That small black animal is called pine marten. It's a small black animal that lives in Europe. It's like a black cat, small black animal like this, wild animal. It has a fluffy tail, triangle face, it runs fast. If you try to catch it, it can be dangerous, but it has a good quality fur, which means that you can use it to make a good coat. So in the Middle Ages, people in Slavonia, like a mink.
Like a mink.
This is, people were trading. So I would give you fur of pine marten of this animal, you would give me food, or you would give me whatever I need, because they didn't have money. The word for the pine marten in Croatian language is kuna. This is the reason why the currency is called kuna. Kuna. You get the story?
Kuna and Huna.
Kuna. Pine marten or kuna. So this is like a 3 young kingdom of Croatia. As I said, this is more than 100 years old roof. It was restored, of course, but still it's original one. This portal is valuable. It's from the end of the 14th century, beginning of the 15th century, but those are 12 apostles, Jesus Christ,
12 apostles,
and the Virgin Mary. It's valuable also because it was done by the same family who worked on St. Vitus Cathedral in Czech Republic, in Prague, family Parler. And those are remains of the first small Romanesque church from the 13th century. At the beginning, it was a small Romanesque church which was extended and transformed into Gothic church in the 14th century. And as I said, on the left side, we have House of Government. But in the past, this was also an important place because in the past, during Habsburg's period, so for many centuries, this was a place where Croatian viceroys or governors used to live, like Jelačić. The main square. This is a house of parliament, which dates back to the beginning of the 20th century. Nowadays, we have approximately 150 seats.
Where is the president?
The blonde one. Everybody wants to meet
Beautiful, beautiful.
Polinda has her office on the north of Zagreb because now we are in the city center. When we choose new president, which happens every 5 years, this is a place where we have ceremony, inauguration. But this was also an important place in the past. Why? In the past, this was a place where they would organize, people in the past, those tradesmen, craftsmen, merchants, they would organize here markets on the open air. And this was also a place where in the past, those people who had done something bad would be punished here, publicly embarrassed. They wouldn't be killed, but they would be publicly embarrassed. One more thing, this is like you're practically at the end of your journey. There is a flag of EU. Croatia joined European Union 5 years ago. We still haven't joined monetary union because it's not obligatory and you have to be economically prepared. From the 14th century, from the year 1355. It's closed only because it's afternoon. They close it around 4 p.m. This morning I was here. There is again the cocoa farm of the city of Zagreb, the same one that we saw on the roof. This was the old name of the pharmacy at a Black Eagles, but it's also famous because in the past the owner of this pharmacy was Niccolò Alighieri. He was a great-grandson of famous writer Dante Alighieri, author of Divine Comedy. I don't know if you study in your schools, he's from Europe, so he's important for Italians. Nevertheless, the owner of this pharmacy was an Italian pharmacist who was married to Croatian girl. In front of us, we have the only entrance preserved from the 13th century. It's called the Stone Gate. This is quite an important place for locals because 86% of Croats are Catholics. It's not that everybody goes to the church, but if we would compare us to another countries, we could say that there are still many religious people. What you can see inside of the Stone Gate is just straight ahead. There is a painting of Madonna and the infant
รูป
Jesus.
ภาพของมาดอนน่าเดี๋ยวให้ไปดูรูปภาพมาดอนน่าข้างล่างอ่ะเขาโดนไฟไหม้หรือมันไม่ไหม้มันก็เลยเป็นเรื่องประหลาดมหัศจรรย์ของเขาเนี่ยที่มันอธิบายมาทั้งหมดอันนี้เป็นฟาร์มาซีร้านขายยาตั้งแต่ศตวรรษที่ 14
But then the
ก็ขายอยู่ยัง
following
เปิด
day
อยู่
citizens found
แค่นั้นแหละ
up there
เรื่องของเรื่อง
above the stone gate in the apartment that painting used to belong to a religious woman. The frame was burnt, but miraculously among the ashes, the painting remained untouched. When the people found it, it was a miracle. So they said, look, this is the Virgin that makes miracles. They started to pray, and their prayers were massively answered. So in order to give thanks to the Virgin Mary, citizens decided to raise down there the altar. In a few moments, you will be able to see the painting. That's its original one. It's called Our Lady of the Stone Gate. She is a patron saint of Zagreb. This is a place where people come every day to pray and light a candle. On the walls, you can see many marble tiles. On each one of those tiles, there is a word, Hvala, Hvala, Hvala. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mother, for making me this or that miracle. The day of Our Lady.
ไป มาที่ไข่ยักษ์นะฮะลัดเลาะมาตรงไข่ยักษ์นะครับเข้าอันนี้ก็ได้คาบาบีโมส เรามาตรงไข่ยักษ์นี่ถนนสกาลินสกาอุลิกานะครับไอริชพับไปห้องหนำกำลังซ่อมแซมจะมีรูปให้อยู่นะ ที่นี่ฝรั่งเขาจะเป็นอย่างเงี้ยเขาซ่อมแซมก็จริงแต่เขามีรูปอยู่
มีรูปที่ซ่อมแซมแล้วออกมาเป็นอย่างนี้
ซ่อมแล้วจะเป็นแบบนี้นี่ขนาดสร้างใหม่นะนี่สร้างใหม่
Mr. Doug, do I have to talk again about this area?
Virgin Mary
16th century walls, perfectly well preserved walls that were constructed during the Ottoman invasion. All the Ottomans never managed to conquer Zagreb, but just in case Greece and authorities decided to fortify the church. And this church was completely fortified between the 16th century. It was like that all the way to the beginning of the 20th century. So this hill of capital in English, was always like a spiritual center of Zagreb. Even nowadays, there are still many priests living here, nuns. There are some convents, some monastery. There is a Franciscan monastery. There is a seminary, yellow building, bright yellow building is a seminary for the future priests. I think that this was enough. Let us go down on your way to the toilets. You will see